when Richard Linklater set off to direct Nouvelle Vague, a black-and-white tribute to Jean-Luc Godard that charts the making of his debut film Breathless. The Oscar-nominated American director spared no details. He recreated the 1959 classic's Parisian setting, light-hearted mood, and three-way chemistry between the two leads and their director, played by Jean Seberg, Jean-Paul Belmondo, and Godard lookalikes, Zoe Deutsch, Aubrey Dillon, and Guillaume Marbeck. While speaking about the film at Biarritz's Nouvelle Vague Festival, where his latest film played on opening night this week, Linklater and Nouvelle Vague. Producer Michel Halberstadt said that everything seen in the film, which had a rapturous world premiere and competition at Cannes, happened in real life. New Wave film buff Linklater did extensive research alongside Halberstadt, who knew Godard well throughout her career in journalism. Halberstadt at one point headed Premiere magazine in France before launching her production and distribution company ERP Selection with her husband Laurent Petain. Linklater's movie depicts the young Godard as a film critic at Les Cahiers du Cinéma. His feisty relationship with his producer Georges de Beauregard, who grew frustrated with the young director's eccentric methods and almost pulled the plug, and his sincere friendship with other new wave filmmakers, such as François Truffaut and Jacques Brevet, as well as Jean-Pierre Melville, who did a cameo in Breathless. Also shown is his ambivalent rapport with Seberg, whom he challenged and refused to treat as the Hollywood star she was, and his ease directing the happy-go-lucky Belmondo. "I love the Nouvelle Vague, and Godard was so unusual," Linklater said on stage in Biarritz. "This film gives us an opportunity to go back and think of the cinema as in a time capsule. We all get in it, and we go back to 1959, and we hang out with not just Godard, but the entire Nouvelle Vague, the Cahiers du Cinéma, and we're just hanging out with them as Jean-Luc tries to make his first film," Linklater continued. Linklater is far from a beginner, having already earned a handful of Oscar nominations with Boyhood and his Julie Delpy-Ethan Hawke movies Before Sunset and Before Midnight. He'd never directed a full movie in a foreign language which he doesn't speak, but Nouvelle Vague, indeed shot in French, with only a few lines of dialogue in English. He admitted he had a system in place during filming and was completely reliant on Halberstadt, who worked on adapting the script to French with Laetitia Masson, and his crew, which made the production of Nouvelle Vague a collective experience. "I was just looking at the actors' behavior and how comfortable they were, but on set, I was worried, so we had a system with Michel and primarily the script supervisor, and then ultimately the editor," he said. "I would look at it and I go, did they mess up that?" He also sounded the cast out. "I really needed confirmation from the actors themselves. I'd ask, was that good? Possibly more than on a traditional movie set." Linklater said he put a lot of trust in people he was working with. Although he started out with an English script, he had no hesitation about making Nouvelle Vague in French. "We had an English script and a French script, and then immediately we went to the French one, because in my mind, I was making an English subtitled movie," said Linklater. "Because that's what the Nouvelle Vague is to me, it's the beautiful language. The sound of cinema to me is French language, but with English subtitles. I love the subtitled version." Linklater was also eager to avoid technical anachronisms in Nouvelle Vague, and that came with a number of restrictions. "It was fascinating on this film to get inside another film and another filmmaking era due to the budgets and what their films looked like and the techniques they used," Linklater said. "It's very simple, actually. I had to erase cinema history after the early 60s and not think of crane shots, no Steadicam, no dolly camera.